Hi, everybody. Welcome back to The Reason We Learn. Today, I want to talk to you briefly about cameras in the classroom. I thought I was done discussing this like 2 years ago, but it came up again today in Twitter. And so I thought I would address it. I'm sure there are plenty of you watching this that will disagree with me, just like there are a lot of you who disagree with me about school choice, and that's fine. You don't have to agree. But let me lay out the case against cameras in the classroom. First of all, there's the cost. The camera equipment that you would need to put into classrooms, every classroom in your school district. Let's just take one school district. Presumably, you want to put it in all the classrooms, right? You don't want to just put it in one or two. You're not going to single out teachers. You got to treat them equally, right? So they're going to be in all the classrooms. The camera equipment alone, if you want it to live stream, so you can watch anytime you want, and can somehow overcome the privacy hurdles of doing that for all the other children who aren't yours to put nanny cams in the classroom. Let's say you could do that, which I doubt. That's enormously expensive. Okay. But let's say it's not live streaming. Let's say it's recording, like the surveillance cameras at the convenience store or the bank or whatever. And it's just going on a loop and recording. Those things do record and they have to store the files someplace. So you're recording every hour of every day in every classroom at all times. And that's got to be stored. The storage is expensive. Also has a decent sized carbon footprint as it happens. So if you're concerned about that. So you're going to store all this. Now, who has access to it? Who owns it? Footage of your kid is on there. Footage of the teachers on there. Both of whom have rights. Footage of everybody else's kids are on there and they all have rights and their parents have rights. So you now say, hey, my kid came home and said something happened, or I heard that something happened in school and I want to see the footage. And maybe you're one of 30 parents who wants to see the footage. And now you all have to request to see the footage. They're not just going to hand it to you. You think they're just going to hand it to you? No, you're going to have to FOIA it. It's going to have to go through a process. Then they're going to decide that, yes, you have a good enough reason to see the footage. The footage, we hope, is not corrupted and not, broken or lost or it didn't record that day or whatever. And some human has to go get it. Now, how are they delivering it to you? On a chip, on a file, in a YouTube? What? Oh, not a YouTube. In an email? What? How are you getting that? Okay. Do you have a lawyer that you're sending it to? Like they're just going to randomly send it to you, parent? And again, it has all the other kids on it too. Are they going to feel the need to edit it first? What if some parents don't give their permission for their kid to be on camera? That is their right. You've probably been given permission slips before to sign saying my kid can be on camera or not on camera for, the use of the school. Well, now they're on camera. And it will be shared with other parents about what's going on. Unless a crime has been committed and there's probable cause and there's, in the public interest for everybody to see, you're going to have to jump through some hoops and somebody may have to edit out the faces of the other kids. And that's because this is all being recorded by the government. Remember, these are public schools and they have obligations to everybody. Again, even the teacher who has a union representing them. It's not just like we put a camera in the classroom and we can just go and flip a switch and check it out whenever we feel like it. There are all these bureaucratic processes. So ka-ching, 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 ka-ching. Lag time. And that's assuming the technology all works minute-wise perfect. It's also assuming that the kids being recorded can't vandalize or tamper with, or the teachers for that matter, the cameras unknown to the principal or whoever that they've done it, and they're gonna have to replace it over and over and over again, like they often do with the cameras outside recording traffic. Although those are way higher up than they would be in the classroom. So you're going to hide them, spy cams, whatever. That's really expensive. Like that's really expensive. So your IT costs have gone up, your bureaucratic administrative costs have gone up. You've got some rights and insurance issues going on. You've got to have the lawyers on retainer as a school district, making sure this is all going swimmingly. And if things continue as they have been, you probably have parents asking for the footage every week, if not every day, to see what's going on. Okay. So there's that. There's all that as an issue. Then you have the way people behave when they know they're being recorded. Don't deny it. When you go places like the bank or whatever, and that cameras are on you, you behave differently. I'm assuming. I do. I don't go looking up at the camera like, "Here's my face. Look here." I have nothing to hide. I just don't really feel like having my face on camera for whoever's watching. I'm there. They don't need to see my face. So kids will gradually learn as if they're not looking down too much as it is at their phones or at screens, whatever, not to look up in the vicinity of the camera. So it'll be harder to identify who's doing anything. They are now have so many schools don't have dress codes. So they'll probably be wearing hoodies or hats or whatever. They'll change their behavior to make it a little bit harder to be seen on the camera as different from any other kid, especially if they are shy or have something to hide. Or conversely, if they're very performative, as some kids are, and want to be on the camera footage or want things to be recorded, just like they do when they're in the school with their cell phones recording fights constantly, they're going to take on a more performative affect than they otherwise would have because they know they're being recorded at all times. It is also possible that people will instigate things more to get people on camera doing things to get them in trouble because we already know that happens too with just the cell phone cameras. The presence of cameras has changed the way discipline works in school, the way kids interact with each other, the way teachers do everything. We know it's already affected how police. They don't want to be recorded doing anything and having it twisted out of context. How do you think the teachers are going to feel? Now you're all out there assuming all the teachers are terrible. All the teachers are horrible, evil indoctrinators, et cetera, but they're not all that way. Some of them are just, useless basically, but they're not horrible people. And you're treating them like criminals who need to be recorded at all times. There already is a teacher shortage. Would you like to make it worse? Because I'll tell you right now, I already have about 10 different reasons I won't set foot in a classroom again. And this would add another to it. And I've talked to other teachers and they feel the same. They don't want to be recorded constantly. It's already a job where you feel like you can't even be a professional because of all the things that you're asked to do. And now you're going to surveil. You're guilty till proven innocent. We got to have you on constant surveillance. Name me another profession that has to have that isn't like handling other people's money or whatever, where you could like just shove it in your pocket. And you might say, well, we're dealing with our kids. Really? Again, if you genuinely believe that your child's teacher or your child's school is abusing them behind those closed doors and indoctrinating them to the level where you want to hear every single word that's said, and that's not just a camera, by the way, that's audio recording, which is even harder to get right without lots of money. You get rid of the distortion and the noise and everything going on to isolate who is speaking and what exactly did they say. How many videos have you seen on YouTube where you're like, wait, who said what to wait, what? And cell phone cameras are pretty good and they pick up the audio pretty well. But when there's noise going on, and especially if the camera's way up high so someone can't vandalize it, like, are you thinking it through? So if you really feel like that, get your kid out of the damn school. This is your responsibility. Obligating taxpayers to put in nanny cams so you can feel better, like it's going to capture everything and that's going to hold everybody accountable. Teachers are going to stop indoctrinating if they know they're on camera. You don't understand how the indoctrination works if you say that. If you think it's something you can see on a camera, if you think it's something you're going to hear, even listening to hours, look, y'all, I make videos, I show you curriculum, I explain it to you, I translate it, and I still have parents going, huh? And yet they know that the kids are graduating little, activists and whatnot. How did that happen? I don't understand. It's happening. Like, just believe it. The indoctrination that it's in the readings that are on their Chromebook. You're going to see that on camera. Go look at their damn Chromebook. Oh, I can't see it. That's a bigger problem. Get your kid out of the school. So like every problem that you have that you think is going to show up in the camera, be recorded with the audio, is something that is you're not going to be able to hear or see well enough, or that won't sound like what you think. They're not going to. And now open your books to CRT 101. That's not how it's going to happen. That's not how it works. That's why I spend the time that I do explaining to you what it does sound like and the language that they do use and the readings and how the reading is the thing, whatever. As far as, they're teaching porn in the classroom, you already know they are. Full stop. Do you really need to see it on camera? You just take it on faith. They are. Oh, they might be lying to you. Okay, if you think they might be lying to you, then they are. If you have that little trust in them, they are. Leave. I'm serious. You're not going to capture this on a camera. They will work around it. They already work around laws in the state of Florida around doing all kinds of things they're not supposed to do. They're doing it anyway. They just found workarounds, and they will find workarounds the camera. You're just going to spend a lot of money and jump through a lot of hoops to get things that are going to disappoint you. because you're not going to find what you think you're going to find. Your kids will behave differently. The teachers will behave differently. And the learning that goes on, that even could go on, is going to be even less because of the surveillance. The things you think are going to happen are not going to happen. Like I said, my favorite one was, well, they'll think twice about indoctrinating our kids if they're on camera. Didn't you discover them doing it piped into your house on Zoom during COVID? Were they thinking twice about it? No, they're proud of it. Those who are doing it think they're doing good. I shouldn't say think, they know they're doing good. They firmly believe it. So why would they stop doing it on camera? And then you go, I got them on camera saying that social justice is the entire purpose of education and that, white people are bad and blah, 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 blah. And well, okay, now if you have a law in your state that that's illegal, you might have a case. But if you don't, it's free speech. What are you going to do? You got them on camera. Super. And your point is what? It really comes down to this. If you are so keen on watching every moment of what your child is learning in school, if you really think you're going to devote the time to watching these surveillance footage or putting in the FOIAs to watch it, then I have to ask, why don't you homeschool? You obviously have a fair amount of time on your hands because it takes time. Ask the police how long it takes to watch video surveillance footage to find just one event that might have occurred in a day. Unless you know the exact timestamp and are sure you got it, you're looking through a lot of footage and you put in that FOIA and you just know, well, sometime last week, my kid said, good luck. Now they got to go pull it from the storage that you're paying for. And at some point, they're going to have to erase footage. So how far back you want them to go? Every time this comes up, I think people absolutely watch too many movies and they don't understand how this works at all. It is not a slam dunk by any means. It is not a solution. It's not even a stopgap. You're like, well, that's better than nothing. It's a trade-off. It may not be a solution, but it's a trade-off. What are you trading though? Trading already crappy education with already too much going on with the data surveillance on their computers and devices, and you're trading it for what? Some illusion of peace of mind for you because you falsely believe that people will behave better when they're not on camera instead of potentially worse or at least no different. Yeah. So that's what I have to say about it. Y'all can disagree all you want, but or you can come out with it. There's cheap cameras and this is government. They're going to buy cheap cameras? They're going to withstand what has to be withstood in that setting? And as I said, do the math. I want you to go right now. If you support cameras in classroom for your district, go right now and do the math. How many classrooms are there in your district? How many are you going to put them in? And then I want you to go and I want you to price the cameras that would do the sufficient quality, then go price some servers to store video footage that is clear enough, high fidelity enough sound and clear enough video footage that it's going to make a difference in any kind of a legal case or a dispute that you might have and you might want to use it in. Because what are you going to do with it once you get it? That's the only thing I forgot to mention. What are you going to do with it? You got the footage. Let's say it shows everything you feared. Teacher standing there like, I don't know, praising Mao in front of the whole class and saying what they need to do is go out and foment revolution on the streets. Let's say you catch it on camera. Now what? The teacher's praising Mao in the classroom. What do you want us to do about it? Fire them for free speech? What? They can't just say whatever they want in the classroom, can't they, though? They kind of can. I mean, there's some limits, I suppose. They can't, solicit sex from the kids. They can't, stand there and curse at the kids. They can't be abusive. Well, they do that sometimes anyway. But you really think they can't stand there and praise Mao? Of course they can. You really think they can't stand there and bash Trump? Of course they can. But the only thing they've not gotten away with was bashing parents. That didn't work out so well in a Utah classroom about a year ago. But yeah, they can say these things, and the school district is very, very unlikely to fire them. Remember, the union will come swooping in and defend them. And even if you're not part of the larger unions, you're part of some local teacher association. So what is it that you think you're gonna get them on? So they'll get a slap on the wrist. Oh, you should probably be a little less overt in your political stuff. Okay, sorry. and they'll go back to doing what they were doing before the very next day. Did you win? Did something good happen? What? What happened? Meanwhile, all the other days that your kid had to sit there and all the other kids had to sit there and all the other parents had to wonder if some creepy parent who just wants to watch every minute of their child's life is going to solicit all of the footage for all year and sit there and watch it for some reason. I don't know why you would want other people watching your kid go to school. If you have these kinds of fears that you want to put cameras in a classroom, pull your kid out of school. That should be your litmus test. Mhm. You want to have eyes on what they're doing? Get them home or get them into a school where you don't have this fear. That's it. That's all I have to say about that. So, thanks for watching. I really, really, really hope this idea dies and gets buried and we don't bring it up again because it is one of the dumber ones I've heard.